all of you vaingloriously wonderful people. This is the Pfister Comet Retro Custom, and I'm about to find out if it'll off-road. This and the next vehicle that we're going to look at, both tied for votes this week with 6 votes each. We've got one more week of cars that I already had recorded from about a month ago, and then we will get into some things that have hundreds of votes, dozens of votes. I know that there's 2 or 3 cars that both, or I should say vehicles, that all 3 have well over 100, and then there are several more that have dozens and dozens and dozens of votes. You can vote for the vehicles that you want to see me test and wheel it off-road by clicking on the link in the description down below. It just takes you to a Google form, even though I know it's kind of a sketchy looking link. That's all it is, it's a Google form. And you can vote for vehicles that I already own, or at the very bottom of the list, there is an option for other, where you can write in as many as you want, and I'll do my best to make those happen. So, the Pfister Comet Retro Custom has a very long name. It also is a slightly slower, less grippy version of the Comet. It's one of those cases where you pay to downgrade a car in minis or in your executive garage. But it's a beautiful car. I actually own 2 of them because there's so many customization options and so much that you can do with it visually. This one's on my first character, and it's parked in the race car's garage. And then on my second character, I have one that doesn't have any livery, and it's much more sedate looking, and it sits with my Pfister collection. Or if you're a popular YouTuber whom everyone hates, it's a P-Pfister. However you'd like to pronounce it. So the big challenge, actually there's 2 big challenges with the Comet Retro Custom. One is that it has a lot of low end power, so it's really difficult to find right where it is on the accelerator that I can keep the car moving forward without the wheels spinning a lot. And then that takes us to the second point, when those wheels do start spinning, and even just around some of the bends in general, the car doesn't have the best grip. So the back end wants to come around and get kind of squirrely on me. And you've seen that I've been fighting with it pretty much constantly going up Mount Chiliad. Despite those 2 problems, though, the car is getting a really good time. If it doesn't come in under the 3-minute mark, I bet it's going to be just right over it. Got a little off the path there, got lost for a minute. That back end is just trying desperately to come around. It so badly wants to get the view that the front end of the car has. But it's not going to happen. I keep it under control. I keep it tamed. Because, you know, that's a rule in life. You got to keep your back end in check. Words of wisdom from Brandon of Vainglorious Gaming. Coming up to the last little bit here on our climb around this little twisty bit. Managed to hit a rock and nearly roll it. See how it does on this really steep climb here. A lot of wheel spin, but there we go. Just modulating the throttle, and we are up over the last bit of rocks. 3 minutes, 2 seconds. Not a bad time. Jesus. Will it off-road? Yeah, it actually does really well off-road, which is kind of a surprise. But don't get too excited yet to see how it did on the climb, because the downhill, that traction is really going to come into play a lot, as is the tendency for it to want to oversteer anytime you even think about pressing on the accelerator. Because of that, you can see I'm being very cautious, just doing my best to avoid everything, even though I managed to hit a rock. This car is also really lightweight, which means it will get a little bit of air, as you can see right there, in places where other cars typically will stay on the ground. So got to be careful of that as well. Trying to stay off the brakes as much as possible, but it wasn't really avoidable back in that last section. I just don't want to get too much speed and go flying off the mountain. Coming around to a little bend here. Does all right. Didn't really get on the gas though. But you can see as soon as I did get on the gas, the back end wanted to come out. Oh, shit, don't get it slowed down in time. This is bad, this is bad. Oh, never mind. Shortcut. First time that's happened that I managed to land right back on the path. So, okay, that's fine. We'll just call it a shortcut and keep moving. Nice and flat over that first jump, surprisingly. Most cars are really, really front heavy on that and want to dip down, but the Comet Retro Custom stayed relatively flat. Let's see how it does in this next jump. Again, not bad. The front end actually kicks up a little bit on the landing. It's kind of weird. Not sure what it is about the car that causes that. Another big jump. And you can see it again. The front end kicks up just as soon as it lands, so you don't have the most steering input when you're back on the ground. Another big jump. Final big jump, in fact. A lot of speed going into that one. I've been pushing these cars harder and harder and harder with each and every video that I record just to get them right at the limits of their performance. Got a bit of air back there. Avoid the logs to the right. And we come up to our final twisty bit of dirt here. Approaching the tree of many crashes. Will we escape it again this week? Yes, I stayed way to the left that time. Probably way too far to the left. But the car didn't want to cooperate. And it spun on me. So, okay. Now we've got to get back up the hill, which I think I can do with just a bit of power. There we go. Yep, right back up where we fell off. To finish off this particular bit of the trail. Hiker down. And now we are back on asphalt. Not that it does much better on asphalt, but still. It's a great looking car, so who cares? Some cars you just own because they're pretty. And we are down in 2 minutes, 49 seconds. Let's go back to the top of Mount Chiliad, shall we? Yes, yes we shall. And a beautiful sunset. Fling this amazing car. Well, amazing car. Gorgeous car. Off the side of the mountain. Really easy to control in midair for the most part. It does get away from you a little bit as it starts banging into the rocks. But it's not too hard to get it back under control. I'm hearing windows break, but so far the body panels, oh, well, the hood is at risk of coming off. No, it closed. All right. No, it's open again. We might lose that hood. It's hard to say. But so far all the body panels are intact. Which is way better than the next vehicle's going to fare, I assure you. Definitely getting thrown all around because of the lightweight. Right into a boulder. I think that even managed to take a little bit of my health. Can't quite tell in the preview that I'm looking at, but it was a pretty big impact. Trying to get back on the power without having the back end come around on me. Managed to get it up on 2 wheels. Nice little 360 in the air there. That was kind of fun. Into the tunnel. Oh, nice landing in there. Now we're in the really bumpy, muddy bits where a lot of cars get bounced around and just overall tortured. But the Comet does okay. I mean, it's not the best. We've definitely seen better performance in this section, but it does all right down here. It keeps its composure fairly well. Up around the wood pile, managed to tag it just a little bit there. And we are down for the damage descent. 1 minute, 35 seconds. So let's take a look at the damage. The headlights and some of the windows are gone, and the hood and left door won't close. That's it. That's all that's wrong with it. But that is going to bring us to our next vehicle. The Ocelot Lynx. Now, I know that this sports car gets a lot of hate, mainly because it's incredibly expensive. I mean, honestly, Rockstar should have knocked one of the zeros off the end, and then maybe it would be a good value, but it does not have the performance nor the handling to justify its high price. But my God, it's a beautiful car. I like driving this car. I actually do drive it quite a bit, despite all of its quirkiness. It's very unpredictable, though. That's about the only thing predictable about the car is its unpredictability, knowing that at any given time it may oversteer, it may understeer, sometimes it may get unsettled by bumps, sometimes it may not. It's just a really bizarre car in the way it handles. As you can see right there, I was going pretty slow and it still managed to get enough air to take me off the course a little bit. It does have a decent amount of traction, though, as long as you don't get too heavy on the throttle. And it's doing all right. I've got a lot of seat time in this car, so I'm expecting good things here, though I seriously doubt that we'll see anything earth-shattering. By the way, if you're wondering where that Comet came in the list of sports cars, if I'm not mistaken, the Comet is now the 9th fastest out of 20 sports cars that have been tested so far. So it's definitely in the top half. Lynx is struggling a little bit to find grip without its rear wheel spinning. But once you get it moving, it's not that bad. And it just, oh my god, just listen to that sound that comes from it. And it's so pretty. It's just such a fantastic looking car. And I just don't know that many people who own them. Hiker down. He even screamed like a girl before I hit him. But I really don't know that many people who own this car, mainly because of the high price of entry to acquire one of these, and the fact that, well, it's not that good in sports cars, especially if you're wanting to take it racing, which you would think that's what it would be designed for, since it does have racing liveries available. I decided against the racing livery and instead have it parked in my garage with my Ocelot collection, which hopefully over the next coming weeks will soon be complete with what is it, the XA21. I'm really looking forward to that car. It's an amazing supercar, and I can't wait to get it up this mountain. Oh, back in got away from me just a little bit there. Doesn't look like we're going to break the 3-minute mark with the Lynx either. Matter of fact, it's probably going to get a slightly worse time than the Comet did. But again, I'm not comparing car versus car. This is just testing each car individually to see how well they do. So if you're thinking that this is me comparing them, it's not. I know I have a time listed in my spreadsheet, but that's just because you got to have some way to measure how well they did other than just the commentary that I have. So that is why the times are there. Oh, on our side. Managed to hit the rock because it understeered on me a bit. Let's see how she does on this steep bit. A lot of wheel spin again, but it was easy to find the point where I finally got grip. Up and over the rocks. And we are on the top of Mount Chiliad. 3 minutes, 5 seconds. Will the Lynx off-road? Yep, it sure will, as Commander Hobo drives up in what sounds like a Gallivanter baller. We'll have to see here in a minute if I'm correct. But we now will take the Lynx back down Mount Chiliad for a controlled descent where its quirky, unpredictable nature will be a much bigger liability. Again, taking it really slow as somebody forgets that when I'm recording that they're not supposed to use chat. But, you know, it happens. Not bouncing around too terribly much. Pretty heavy on the brakes to keep the speed down at this point. And I love the noise that this car makes under engine braking. Just sounds incredible. It's a subtle noise. I don't know how well it'll come through in the video because I do have to bump the game volume down just a little bit so that you can hear my commentary. But I do my best. Unlike a lot of YouTube channels where they just kill game audio altogether, or they make it so inaudible that you just can't really hear it, I try to maintain a good balance in all of my videos so that you can hear the game as well as see it without drowning out the commentary that I have over it. And that is why my editing process takes a long time, because it's the audio production that I spend the most time on. And there you go, a little behind the scenes. Again, just trying to keep my speed down because I know this car at any given moment will do something unexpected. Though it was fairly nice over and composed over that bit right before we hit the hiker. Let's see how we do on this next jump. And again, a little front heavy, but nothing that's uncontrollable. I was able to land nicely and just keep moving forward. Going to shave off a lot of speed here, and oh, a little sideways going into that. But a nice composed landing and very, very well composed around these corners. Granted, I don't have a ton of speed going right now, so that does help it a little bit. Going up on two wheels occasionally, but it comes right back down, so not too big of a worry. On to our last little bit of dirt. And once again, avoiding the tree of many crashes. That poor tree, it's just been neglected for so long. Pretty sure we have a car coming up in the next week or two that nails that tree hard, but I don't know, maybe I'm thinking of something else. So we're on the asphalt, able to stretch my legs a little bit more here, but we are now down 2 minutes, 32 seconds. So once again, we're going to head back to the top of Mount Chiliad and there we are, through the magic of editing. And we are off to see what type of damage this thing can withstand. And let's just say it's going to be quite a few body parts missing. As you can see, both the bumpers are already gone, and I'm now racing my own body parts down Mount Chiliad. Oh, one of the two bumpers just slammed into the car. I can't tell if it's the front or the rear. Again, in the preview that I'm looking at, it's not big enough for me to see the details. Ooh, really harsh landing. That definitely took some of my health. Don't know how Rocket fared on that one, but it definitely took some of my health. Oh, did we just lose a door? We did just lose a door. Man, this thing... Oh, and an engine rattle to boot. I don't know if you heard that, but the engine rattled just as it went up in the air and I let off the throttle. So we definitely have some engine damage going, which is kind of surprising because this car does have 100% armor. Huh. That's really surprising that it's taken engine damage already. Probably from that really bad front impact that we had. And that one probably didn't help any at all. Looks like we got some bent wheels going on as well. Tried to get a good shot through the tunnel and failed miserably. So now that we're back on our wheels, I got to do a bit of a burnout to get going straight again as the very loud train passes overhead. This thing is bouncing all around in this bumpy bit down here. It's not so much the mud that's causing the problem as it is just the bumps. This car does not like the bumps. Yeah, the engine's definitely rattling even worse now. There, you could probably just heard it just then. That's why I was quiet for a second, waiting for me to lift off. We're down 1 minute, 55 seconds. Let's take a look at the damage. The headlights are gone. Most of the windows are gone, as well as the hood, front and rear bumpers, and both doors. Has some bent wheels, and there is moderate engine damage. Hey, don't forget to go vote for the vehicles that you want to see featured in Will It Off-Road by clicking on the link in the description down below. And until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.